We journey back 6 million years to a time long before our own species existed. Here we find a creature that holds a vital clue to our very origins. This is the story of Orrorin tugenensis. Dating back about 6 million years, Orrorin tugenensis is recognized as one of the earliest known members of the human evolutionary lineage. These individuals were roughly the size of a modern chimpanzee and possessed small teeth covered in thick enamel, a trait seen in modern humans. The most crucial fossil evidence is an upper femur, which exhibits a bone structure characteristic of a biped. This suggests that while Orrorin tugenensis likely climbed trees, they were also capable of walking upright on two legs when on the ground.
So where do we find the evidence for this ancient hominin? Well, the story of Orrorin begins in a very specific place, the Tugen Hills of Kenya. It's a landscape that has held the secrets of our deep past locked within its layers of earth for millions of years. You see, the Tugen Hills are situated within the Kenyan Rift Valley, a place that's an absolute treasure trove for paleoanthropology. And the reason for that is its geology, rich, well-preserved layers of sediment that act like a time capsule. The key layer for us, the one where Orrorin was discovered, is known as the Lucino Formation. It dates back to the late Miocene epoch, giving us this incredibly precise window into the world of our ancestor.
And the name itself, well, it tells a story. Orrorin actually means original man in the local Tugen language, which really speaks to its profound significance. And the second part, tugenensis, is a direct nod to its home, the Tugen Hills where it was unearthed. The name perfectly connects the species to its place and its importance. All right, so now that we know where it was found, let's look at the evidence itself. What did the researchers actually pull from the ground? Because our entire understanding of this species, it's built from a surprisingly small but incredibly precious collection of fossil fragments. In total, we have about 20 fossil fragments. But what's really crucial here is that analysis shows these fragments come from at least 5 different individuals. And that's so important because it tells us we're not just looking at a one-off, a single strange fossil. No, we're getting a glimpse into a genuine population. So let's take a look at the inventory. What exactly do we have? There are 2 partial femurs, those are the thigh bones, and these are absolutely central to the story. We also have a partial humerus, that's the upper arm bone, a piece of a mandible or jaw, 3 teeth, and even a distal thumb phalanx, a small bone from the tip of the thumb. Each individual piece is a clue, a part of a much, much larger puzzle. Now, it might not sound like a lot, but these few bones, they have so much to tell us. By carefully studying their anatomy, we can start to piece together what life was like for this ancient ancestor. To really grasp the importance of Orrorin, you have to understand when it lived. We're talking about 6 million years ago, right at the tail end of the Miocene epoch. This is an absolutely critical period in evolutionary history. It places Orrorin right around the time of the great split between the lineage that led to us and the one that led to modern chimpanzees. When we look at its physical characteristics, we see that Orrorin was roughly the size of a modern chimpanzee. But when you look at the teeth, a very different story emerges. Unlike chimps, which have large molars, Orrorin had small molars. And not just that, they were covered in thick enamel. These are traits we see in the human family tree, and they hint at a diet that was different, maybe including tougher, more fibrous foods. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most crucial piece of fossil evidence we have. It's the upper part of the femur. This one bone really has the power to reshape our entire understanding of how our earliest ancestors moved, because it shows a bone structure that is characteristic of a biped. So let's zoom in on that femur, the thigh bone, because this bone is the key. Its unique story is what reveals how Orrorin actually moved through its ancient world. What all this evidence points to is a creature with a dual existence. On the one hand, the upper limb fossils, they tell us it was a strong climber, clearly still very much at home in the trees. But that femur provides the undeniable anatomical proof that when it was on the ground, Orrorin walked upright on 2 legs. It was a creature adapted to 2 different worlds, the arboreal world of the forest canopy and the terrestrial world of the ground below. We don't know everything about our early ancestors, but we keep learning more. But the proximal femur fossil shows several traits, like elongated and antero-posteriorly compressed femoral neck, thicker cortex inferiorly than superiorly in the femoral neck, presence of an obturator externus groove, and well-developed gluteal tuberosity are indicators of bipedality.